Hey everyone, Tony D. Little Joan here with a hot take on the Great Purge. The Great Purge of Twitter. Um, Trump is, of course, gone. Rush Limbaugh is gone. The POTUS account is still up. I said in the previous video that it was down. What I meant to say was they had deleted some of Trump's tweets. So essentially it's down for Trump, just to clarify. Someone pointed that out very rudely in the comments. Very, very rude people on YouTube. But, you know, keep coming. I'll just keep banning you. But speaking of bannings, Trump is out. Apparently, Rush Limbaugh may have deleted his own Twitter account just out of protest. And a bunch of other MAGA Twitter accounts have been killed. I'm losing followers slowly. You know, I don't have that many. Maybe 1,650, 1,700, something like that. So now I was just at like 1,522 a few minutes ago, and now I've lost 3. You know, people are deleting their accounts too and moving over to Parler. I'm on Parler. I'm on Gab, Minds. What else? Facebook. I hate Facebook. Don't even bother. Facebook's the one I really want to get off. Twitter I was kind of warming up to simply because I was selling books on it, but you know, it's just it's becoming awful. It really is. And then, you know, James Woods lost 85,000 subs, I guess, followers, whatever you call them on here. It's just ridiculous. It's just, and the Trump campaign is no longer able to send out emails after mail service suspends access. I mean, these guys are going for the throat. It's weird. Oh, here's Ben Garrison, apparently. He is a right-wing, whatchamacallit, political cartoonist. That's crazy. This is a crazy picture. What's the caption? Can't read any of it. Yeah, I mean, I guess this is supposed to be funny that they killed the guy. I mean, you know, this is the party of unity, everybody. You know, the people who follow him. It's funny, you know, but if a Trump supporter did something like that to you know, somebody from BLM or Antifa, well then that would be cause for a banning, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be cause for a banning? I'm sure it would be. I'm sure that would violate the TOS, but not this. When you kill or disparage people who aren't leftist, it's fine, apparently, on these platforms. So go to town, y'all. Yeah, so the purging seemed to be happening earlier more. Now it seems to have died down. You know, I remember the days when Twitter was just a place. It was just stupid. You could only do 140 characters, and most people just tweeted pictures of their lunch. Like, ooh, look what I'm eating. This is chicken and waffles. And, oh, they gave me some cilantro on the side. Isn't that clever and wonderful? It's just like ridiculous. Ridiculous. CNN is apparently trying to push for Fox News to be banned now. It's like, is this really what you're about if you're a Democrat? I was a Democrat. No way. No way can you call yourself liberal. If you call yourself liberal and you support censorship in any way, I'm sorry. You're not liberal. You're an authoritarian. Just admit what you are or leave the Democratic Party because they are censoring people. They're censoring people. And this is incredibly dangerous. Part of the reason that the riot at the Capitol got out of hand, or that it happened at all, is because people are furious. People are furious. Their voices aren't heard, and they're frustrated. You ban these people from all the public, and these are public spaces. Now, I would say, as a libertarian, You have to privatize them all. But I would also say you have to have a level playing field, and there's not. There's all these rules that have been mostly government made for the internet. Just to have the internet in your neighborhood, there's no competition. Back in the day, there was like so much competition. I mean, these internet companies were undercutting each other. They were cutting their nose off to despite their face just to get your business. Now they've got all these little monopolies all over the country, and they jack up the prices. How much are you paying for internet right now? You know, I dumped my TV because I hardly watched it, and I got it back down to $100 a month. That's just for the internet. That's all I have now. I just have internet. It's like over $100 a month. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It used to be like $20 a month for the internet. Now it's like over $100. It's insane. And is it faster? Yeah, a little bit faster. It's not like it is in Europe where it's like lightning. So anyhow, I digress. Getting back to the Purge. You know, get to the alternate platforms: Parler, Gab, Minds, BitChute, Rumble for me. But there was a message from the president at POTUS following his permanent ban from Twitter. This is from Breitbart. He says, "As I've been saying for a long time, Twitter has gone further and further in banning free speech. And tonight, Twitter employees have coordinated with the Democrats and the radical left in removing my account from their platform to silence me and you, the 75 million great patriots who voted for me." Thanks for the mention. Twitter may be a private company, but without the government's gift of Section 230, they would not exist for long. Well, it's not totally true. They've got AI now that could probably do most of the work. The problem is the only reason they're worth the money they're worth is because of that protection. That was a distortion of the market. As always, government intervenes. It's a distortion of the market, and it creates these billionaires. Continuing, I predicted this would happen and have been negotiating with various other sites and will have a big announcement soon, while we also look at the possibilities of building out our own platform in the near future. We will not be silenced. Twitter is not about free speech. They are all about promoting a radical left platform where some of the most vicious people in the world are allowed to speak freely. Stay tuned. I don't even think it's about that, really. It's not about the most vicious people. But what it is the Overton window, you know, used to be kind of in the center. It would shift a little, but not a lot. And if anything, it was more over to the right. Well, at some point, it just started shifting more and more to the left. I think that's the influence of China now. I really do. I think China invested heavily in their spies. I mean, 2 million spies. No one's doing anything about it. They're still here, as far as we know. They haven't been purged. The Democrats sure as hell aren't going to purge them because I think the Democrats are taking their money. They think they can take their money, and it's fine. It's fine. Oh, no, we can take bribes from them and just ignore them. You're not ignoring them. You don't, even if you think you are and don't do exactly what they say, they're influencing you. Anyhow, that Overton window shoots everything to the left. And people on the right are now in the extreme. People who were like in the center right are now total right. People who are in the center are now right-leaning. People who are left-leaning centrists are really in the center. And it just keeps getting worse and worse every year. So the purges all come from the right side. They don't come from the left, ever. So the right gets cut off. And then, you know, now you got center-right people. They cut them off. Then the center people, they cut them off. Then the left-leaning center people go. Now you've got nothing but a left-wing echo chamber, and that just devolves into, as Barack Obama put it, a circular firing squad, where there's a purity test over and over again, and no one can pass it except the most extreme maniacs, who essentially just get more and more paranoid, more and more delusional. It's a bubble they've created for themselves. I'll tell you a story I like to keep reminding people of. It's the story of Will Wheaton on Twitter. So Will Wheaton, who's Wesley Crusher from Star Trek: The Next Generation, sort of reimagined himself as King of the Geeks, and he had a following on Twitter, like over 3 million people, and he was demanding Jack Dorsey ban Alex Jones at the time. Now Jones was still on the site, and you know, being a maniac as he always is, and so Jack wouldn't ban. At that point, Jack was holding the line. So Will Wheaton gave him a deadline. Said, if you don't do it by this date, me and my followers are leaving. So he didn't do it. So Will left with his followers, and they moved over to a site called Mastodon. Now, my understanding of Mastodon, it's a left-wing version of Twitter. It's a curated version of Twitter, where they you know, monitor things and flag people. Well, lo and behold, they started flagging Will Wheaton for his views. At the time, I think he was talking about transgender people, and they weren't left enough for the people of Mastodon apparently and his fans, and he got flagged. And eventually, I think he got kicked off, or he was forced to leave the platform. I forget. But the point is, he had to make an announcement saying that he really had to rethink things. Of course he did. You know, oh, the people who like censorship, they love it until the censorship happens to them, and then suddenly something's wrong. You know, everybody likes to be a tyrant until they get tyrannized. And that's what censorship is, really. It's tyranny. There's nothing else to call it. It's a tyranny. It's a tyranny. You're saying you can't say those things. You know, I'm old enough to remember a time when people just said things that would it would burn your ears. It was so, like, edgy and crazy. And now, yeah, people don't say that online anymore. No way. They get purged. Certainly can't say it in public. You can't even say it as a joke anymore. What do you want, dog? I'm just about to wrap up, but you interrupt me. So, you know, it's about this Overton window. And it was, back in the day, we used to laugh at the Christian Coalition and the right-wingers who would say, oh, you're all going to hell for the terrible things you said. And we go, shut up, freedom of speech, you D-bag. Now it's the left. They're the Puritans now. And they think they're so woke and wonderful. Just like the Christian Coalition people thought they were so wonderful. They weren't woke, but they were religious, and they were going to heaven. And so they had the authority to tell you how to think and what to do. If you didn't do it, well, now it's these left-leaning, pink-haired lunatics. Mostly women. Mostly women. I keep pointing that out because it skews female. Look at the squad. There's a lot of women in that mix. And I say to you, women, you need to talk amongst yourselves about this use of power, because you are entering in very dangerous territory. You think you can mother everybody. You think you can censor the world and treat them like your bratty kids. You cannot. Daddy's going to be coming. And when Daddy finally is forced to come out and slap you down, you will not like the end result. Some of you will, but a lot of you won't. A lot of you won't. The snapback is going to be bad. Okay? You should not have messed with these people. You know, somebody pointed out in a meme, Antifa had, you know, these are left-wing college students. They had the support of billion-dollar companies. They had a free reign to go commit arson and do all these horrible things. And they jacked up the country for months, burned cities. Did they affect any change right whatsoever? No. One time the Trump supporters got out of hand. Where did they go? Right into the Capitol. Right into the seat of power. That's knowing the problem. Okay? That's where the power was. It wasn't in Portland in some random federal courthouse. It wasn't in all the businesses they burned. It wasn't in, you know, some random police precinct in the middle of Minneapolis. It's in the Capitol building. That's where all the power is. And these Antifa guys, and it's coming out that more and more of them were there. You know, they, and just like the Trump supporters, they didn't have a plan. They went in there, no plan. No plan whatsoever. So what good did it do? Nothing. Nothing. So anyhow, the censorship's going to get worse, unfortunately, before it gets better. So follow me on BitChute, Minds, Rumble, Parler, Gab. I think that's all of them. Follow me on like 3 or 4 things, and that way, when I get deleted, you can find us. Right, Little Joan? You want to find Little Joan? Maybe it could be a contest. Find Little Joan and come up with a little sticker for you. Wouldn't that be nice?